double initiator. Sen, though, moving away from the deadlock, they're playing default Fnatic comp. I think that's fine, that's comfortable. They've played it before and they've been great with it before.
And Kaplan did put an emphasis saying that we're focusing much more on anti-stratting. FPX have just moved away from their triple controller comp, which I think there was tons of exploitable elements with that composition. And now they've moved to this, so your preparation, out the window if you're Sen, you're going to be adapting on the fly.
If Sentinels was going to prove their fundamentals are back, this is the map to do it. Playing the basic comp against something weird. Let's see if they're ready.
Couldn't agree more, Mimi. Let's go ahead and see if this one can go to a third map. We're sending it back over to your casters, Doug and Baby Bay.
Thank you so much, GB. I think the big elephant that we've got to address in the room is that Sentinels have won a map for the first time in what feels like a really long time. It seems like they're going back to the fundamentals, the basics that Mimi was talking about on the desk.
Sen fans rejoice around the world for sure. But this comp from FPX, what are they cooking, Doug? This is some weird stuff we're about to see. I feel like they might be overcooking, even on the last map, changing their game plan and whatnot. Sometimes you just need to play what you're comfortable with, what you're used to. And FPX's triple controller comp, it's nothing like anything Sen have ever played against. Now this comp as well isn't like anything they've ever played against, but it's comfortability for Sen.
What a crunch. They send 3 down mound, they drop the paranoia, and they dump Fade utility into B.
Yeah, that's what promptly allows for the speed up of FPX. Oh, opting not to break the Killjoy turret. Probably break it after the smoke fades, but it's going to shoot him right here. I don't know about this right now.
It's
still up.
That pesky thing is still up.
I mean,
they got what they wanted. They got the spike down. Now they're in a 5v5 post plant.
The Sentinels have so much info once the smoke fades. I guess it's just going to be reoccurring smokes here.
Life still playing in it.
I mean, they know. Sen surely know that there's somebody close by.
They have to know. Well, he's dead now. John and Zekin getting a couple openers. Now they can turn their attention over towards Tree. The spike has been going off for a little bit, but it's all been so decisive. And look, they're going to crunch. Sassy trying to deal with the first, and unfortunately he cannot. Zekin gets in on it though with the Sheriff in hand. John's going to stick the defuse all the way, and there's nothing that can stop him. Sentinels get the pistol.
I hate to be a harbinger of bad news and whatnot, but Life not breaking that turret for that entirety is just so bad for what FPX were trying to accomplish in that round. Even if you're trying to play in that smoke and try to finesse around and kill stairs, you want that broken because when the smokes fade, it's going to shoot at you no matter where you're at on site. And that's free info the entire round for Sen. But right now, Zelsis he's just calming to his team. Yo, turret's up still. Turret's up still. Wait for the smokes to fade. It'll have a full line on site. It's a disaster of a mistake. But it's not over yet. It's going to be an A default. Zekin needs to get out of dodge quickly. And it's Berlin on the breach who's the forefront. I mean, you can't prep for that.
Again, another spam kill. As Berlin waltzes into his death as well.
Sen have got to be one of the scariest teams to play when they are feeling it. Whoa. Autumn's so good at chamber. I guess this is why they decided to just slap him on it on this map. Spike should get planted because of that entry.
Ion committing to it. Now going to be 2 pips away from having his ult online.
Yeah, and he's got 3 more in the chamber right now. Autumn might be able to finesse this round. He gets caught lacking. Saucy going absolutely nuclear right now in the back of sight. Cleans it up. Ion couldn't do anything, and Zekin is going to defuse the spike. He's getting closer to that showstopper, and another strong start continuing from that last half they had.
Yeah, I think, you know, it was funny as we were watching some of that play out, it felt a little reminiscent to how Sentinels looked on the first half of Bind.
Yeah.
Where it just felt like, and again, yes, it was Nico, I understand all that, but the way that they approach some of these swings, the way they're approaching some of these fights felt very much like what Sentinels looked like in the first half of Bind.
I agree. But Tens is on a Bucky right now.
Bucky light armor. The investment isn't huge here. Yeah. A Vandal and a Bulldog, but as far as big guns go, that's it.
He did give his rifle to Zekin, understanding that if he gets, you know, a kill after grabbing that orb, he will have the showstopper online. Is Autumn going to be ready for this? This is so hard to clear.
Autumn's been good. Swing, man.
It's got to be a 1 pump. There it is.
Well, they could deal with the anticipation any longer. Look at all of this Killjoy utility set up towards C.
Yeah, and look at all the space that Ten's got after getting that kill. He has all of A. Look at how many members of Sentinels are here.
The Thrash now invested. A little bit of space found. Zalstis will get caught. There's not enough help that'll save you there. Lysar now getting a little bit of high ground, repositioning though. The spike not committed yet. Tens is starting to rotate over. Doesn't have a paranoia. Tap of the door. It's all just a threat.
Yeah, all just fake, faint pressure right now. He's going to wrap all the way around as well. There's no trips up. He might catch these players lacking.
Ayong is ready for it.
Oh, he sees a barrel in the main.
Not able to land the first shots. And remember, there is more than just this threat here. It's more than just Berlin. Can the rest of Sentinels take space on the site? Well, all of this is happening out towards Mound. If Tens can buy some time, if he continue to be eye candy, there's a shot at this. But FPX manage every single threat so well. Second dance to the Thrash. Zekken's left alone in a 1v3. Berlin's weak, but that spike has been going off for a little while. I don't know if there's enough time for this.
Oh, there's none at all. Zekken, he hit some nice shots on that exit right there. He's definitely feeling himself. That's why Tens dropped him the rifle. But the reaction from FPX, that was a great Thrash from Ayong. Wrapping all the way around, and Berlin with a supporting utility there. Very good stuff, yeah. I mean, what can you do?
You can only smile there.
Yeah.
But again, I want to talk about how well FPX handled this situation right here. They knew that Tens was on the flank. They knew they were going to have to deal with some of the pressure, with some of everything that was being thrown their way, and to be able to effectively parse all of that info out in the chaotic moment is really difficult to do.
Yeah, and Lysor, who had a really rough map. Ooh, nice pick from Autumn. Wait, he's not stopping. They're not stopping Life with the follow-up.
Tens is here by himself. Now John QT is joining the fray, but Tens peppered, finally put down. And yeah, sure, FPX has a couple of weak members as well, but...
What an A fight.
Yeah.
That's with no duelist on top of it. I mean, it's almost impossible to get out of that choke.
You wouldn't know it.
But the power of Chambers, you're able to take that quick peek. I mean, we saw how good, I believe it was Foxy9 against Fnatic. I mean, he was dominating around A. And that was against utility as well. Autumn still getting value, just getting bombarded. But to my point, what I wanted to talk about was Lysor in the previous round. He was rough on the last map. But when he's on point for this team of FPX, they just dominate team. So he had the schmooze on C site in the previous round. This time around, he's sitting at 8 HP, but that paranoia got some value. And it's going to be a full save right now from the side of Sen. And now you got to think, you know, how are you going to approach this A fight? Because you just gave it your all.
Take a look at it again.
I mean,
Zekken tried getting an aggressive angle, but...
yeah, the follow-up fight was just too much.
Again, you wouldn't believe that they didn't have a duelist in that situation.
Yeah, it really felt like Autumn took the fastest timing. The power of Chamber on this map, and I think a lot of teams like are a little wary of playing Chamber. They think it's like, you know, not as good as, you know, Cypher or Killjoy. And to be fair, they could be true, but it doesn't mean that Chamber is a bad pick on this map whatsoever.
Sure.
We've seen a lot of teams make it work, most notably T1. Saw Saya player on that, and he made it look really, really good. So if you have a good game plan with this Chamber, it could really do a lot of damage.
And you know what's crazy is I think we're going to see most of the heavy part of a good game plan there when it gets to their defensive side. So if you're already seeing some of the value on attack, I mean, we'll see what the rest of this map has in store for us. No ults up on the side of the attack. But again, we're going to see this A fight. And I get it, neither team willing to relent on this area of the map. Full dump at util. Oh. He's so dead. He had nowhere to go there. He was lit up.
Yeah.
And then obliterated.
From the top. Zekken went on that double box around that Viper wall that you see on the mini-map and just was able to elevate so far in the air. But it's interesting. Sentinels are using their, you know, their nade tether combo to try to catch out Lysor, but he's not actually TPing across. So that gives Autumn an opportunity to just swing out main for free and TP out after he takes his shot. I wonder if Sen are going to mix it up in the future rounds and try to punish Autumn. Try to get some chip damage on him. make sure he can't take a pop shot or anything like that. It's going to be an A reclear, though, on the side of FPX. Lysor. He's not sitting too healthy. 30 HP to his name.
And Tens is in such a good spot. Zekin smoked off, but you're still going to have to do a Tens.
It's too easy.
Falling. And now Saucy has arrived.
It just looked too easy right there.
30 seconds left.
And that, I mean, honestly, that was still a pretty strong position from FPX, all things considered. That was a 5v4. It wasn't like they were super down in numbers and they were heavily outgunned.
They just didn't peak together. Berlin way too far ahead of his squad. It's something that you see him do quite often. He's a maniac on this team, honestly.
10 seconds left.
And we saw it a couple of times on Bind. We've seen it here as well.
Yeah, he's kind of like Kerrigan-esque, where he'll be the entry as the IGL, and then once he's down, he can do like his mid-rounding. But when you're already down a player, it's too much of an ask. Tens, he's starting to heat up now, too. You give this team confidence, or the individual players on this team confidence, any one of them can take over the game.
We see that second kill.
Yeah, that's the top rope right there.
Yeah, off the ult.
Beautiful. The crosshair placement of Tens in this moment was so good. I mean,
well, and that's the swing you were talking about. Berlin was just so far ahead of everything else.
Yeah,
not in a
early.
position to trade yourself. And again, I want to go back to the first half that we saw of Sentinels on Bind, because you mentioned it. Spacing was an issue. And if the spacing is not in a position where you can trade out, when you're down in numbers like that too, the trading has to be on point, because it's only going to go from bad to worse if you can't equalize in fights like that.
Yeah, and oftentimes when you swing together, sometimes players get overwhelmed and they don't know which target to choose from, and you might even just get the kill clean, and all of a sudden it's a 4v4. I mean, when you're going against Tens, probably not likely, but there's still a chance, right? At least get the trade. And that's why you see this timeout coming out from FPX. Coach has got to be telling them, guys, chill out. Start playing as a team more. Stop trying to go for these crazy plays. Remember what got us here.
Yeah, it does feel, man.
It's a very early timeout.
It is. I don't want to say desperate. But again, some of the swings felt a little bit like they were just throwing lives away. It almost felt like we were watching an eco round where Sentinels had full rifles and they were just in classics and like,
Literally.
all right, let's kind of move on into the next.
And it was anything but that, right? Tens had a Bulldog. If you peek somebody together against a Bulldog, I swear 9 times out of 10 he can't connect on both.
Right,
You must have to line up perfectly.
We'll see what adjustments come out on the other side of this timeout. I think on the side of Sentinels, you're seeing some of the adjustments. We've talked about this dump of utility towards A main these last couple of rounds, and this time it's been anything but.
Yeah, they changed their game plan. They were anticipating a front B walk. That's why you saw Zekin and John QT posted up right there. But the problem with how FPX are taking this approach on the attacking side is they're just 5-manning everything right now. So while all this A control is happening, Zelsis is just jiggling C for free. You look at the minimap, and he has all the info. So that's why there's 3 players geared up of Sentinels towards A site.
Yeah, they're really not playing the map at all. And given the fact that we're talking about Lotus, it's a 3-site map, you would think that's what you're going to want to lean into more than even on other maps.
And especially when you don't have a duelist.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you want to go for this A execute, who's going to close the gap?
Well, 2 bits of util, but they're pretty early off of that. You've got the Nightfall and the Paranoia and Tens and Saucy holding the line, but Berlin on the counterpunch, cleaning up a couple of his own. Maybe a little bit of room to breathe here for the attack.
30 seconds left.
Right now, Autumn needs to drop that spike to Berlin, have him plant while he covers for free. Right now, there's no smokes on the field for Sentinels, right? That orb isn't anywhere near A site.
Yeah.
So this could be a really good post-plant opportunity. The time is running down low here. And Zekin still has that nade. I mean, he might be able to delay this. This nade is going to be perfect. The cleanup on John as well.
Autumn's now been left on his own with an op in hand trying to Rambo his way through it, and he just can't.
No, and now that's an operator if Sentinels want it.
And they have. Yeah, they've picked it up. This feels very uncharacteristic of the FPX that I think people saw in Shanghai. The same team that took maps off of the 2 finalists in Shanghai, the team that looked much stronger leading into Seoul, and then the team that we've seen here as well.
And this is the problem of when you're trying to anti-strat teams with compositions and whatnot. It's not like FPX aren't good at the triple controller comp that they run. but I think they just put too much stock into maybe Sentinels counter-stratting them, and they wanted to mix things up. Now, all of a sudden, the FPX players are uncomfortable. You start making hero plays.
Or trying
To make hero plays, and you're getting punished for it by a team of Sentinels who now have gone back to their comfortability and are just playing the fundamental game of Lotus.
Here's that op that you mentioned from the previous round, now in the hands of Zekken, who's holding down B-Long.
And you have an Odin as well on the other side.
Yeah.
Seeing how deadly the Odin could be.
There are no good options here. Fortunately for FPX, the eye gets cleared out, so there's no way to get secure spam damage. They're going to rotate away, and if they rotate away back C, again, there's no good option. Either you deal with the op that's down B, you deal with the spam from Saucier, or you deal with the, I mean, every single bit of KJ utility.
Yeah, literally.
C, unless
No.
Autumn can deal with him, but, I mean, Zalsis, even his positioning is really nice. He's not giving away an angle. He's not giving a fight.
And it's the double layers. He doesn't need to peek anything here. Oh, that's a really good breach. C right there. Doesn't get the turret still, though, so still info. Gained right now for Zalsis, and he's just going to play backside right now. Ooh, that flash connect.
Tens has his ult if he wants to rotate over very quickly, or John can just mow him over. There it is, the ult invested, and he arrives to see Zalsis holding the line on C. Another dominant round for Sentinels.
Yeah, Zalsis played that so well. Full layered utility there. It's all because FPX was on a bad buy. They had that B line from the start of the round. If Zekken gets overwhelmed, he can satchel out. So he doesn't need any extra utility to support him there. And then John is able to flood in. It's beautiful play.
And even the little things, like Zalsis seeing that the breach util was coming through and instantly realizes, oh, I've got to pop the nanos. And even if he's not getting damage, he's buying time.
Yeah, he delays.
Yeah. So those little decisions like that proving to be fruitful. Sentinels up 3 rounds. They've dropped a pit towards C.
Ooh, Operator almost connected on the 10s right there.
They continue to invest into this weapon.
If you're running a chamber, you kind of feel like you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose you're right. If you really want to lean into the strengths of the agent.
It's just so hard for FPX to bust through any of these sites. You have no Raze, you have no Jet to get away from that Killjoy utility or the Viper Molly or even the Omen Flash. Every piece of util will connect if you're Sentinels.
It almost feels like you're trying to play this attack half with a hand tied behind your back.
Yeah, it's a handicap. Playing the game on hard mode.
They might try to NB here. They've got a smoke. That's, well, forget the smoke.
It's round over. 30 seconds left.
And they don't have money. You're right. They have to save here.
Oh, wait.
They might try to go for this. 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Berlin will fall. They're going to try to get out towards Tree, but Tens is here. Playing just up on the other side of this smoke. I guess they're going to wait for it to go down and then trust the numbers that they have. There it is. What a beautiful reposition up from Tens. A flawless round from Sentinels. The stomp continues.
Yeah, setup to the round was great. Then the finish of the round was even greater. Zalsis was supporting John in that Viper's pit. Alarm bot was ahead of everything. Gives you security if you're John playing in that pit alone. You're able to cheat a little bit back, and then you get the collat front B. Yeah, FPX, they got to burn that second timeout. This is getting out of hand and getting out of hand very fast. This comp change, I get it. You showed a lot of rounds against Heretics. I understand. You want to switch it up. You want to catch Sen off guard. Sometimes you just got to play your own game to win, and now you're stuck in this spot, and what can you do?
And then remember, I've got to mention the stakes here because that's not something we've talked about a ton, to be honest. This is elimination.
Yeah.
This is the end of the year for you. I mean, it's a long offseason, and it feels like an even longer offseason when you've got how the loss went through ruminating in your mind for months.
Yeah. Especially with that close series they had against Heretics.
It's a tough spot to be in.
It's nuts.
The thing about situations like this, though, is if the team is capable of making adjustments, they'll do it, and they'll have to do it here. FPX down 4 rounds, running this different no duelist comp on Lotus, where they aren't really playing the map as well as you would think, or playing it to its full degree as you would expect given the comp. But perhaps the second timeout is what brings fruit.
Any type of saving grace. Maybe this hero buy on Ayong. Maybe if they can get an entry, you can commit some of the ultimates.
And
Yeah,
we'll see if they can do anything about it here.
it's going to be very hard. It's an uphill battle, to say the least. But Autumn does have 8 bullets of the Headhunter, and we've seen how crisp he is with that. So they just need an entry. They need some type of first blood. But I think an Operator versus a Chamber Headhunter, I think the Op wins that.
That should.
We'll see when the smoke fades.
That's the other thing, as we think about some of the adjustments that have played out in this map. Think about, there's the op winning,
Yep.
by the way. You think about how hell-bent Sentinels were in controlling A main at the beginning of the rounds with the dumpy utility, and it feels like the night and day difference has been so clear.
Well, I think they realized that they could just play in the back of sight.
Exactly.
Because there's no duelist.
Exactly. They don't have to take these fights. They can play ahead of it. You see both Omen's trying to TP ahead of the utility. Intense is getting the best of Lysor. Sasi on the swing. He's going to find another. Not able to connect onto the third, but now 4v2. Makes that a 4v1. Life with the Singer cannot connect.
It's unreal. I'm pretty sure Tens did that Omen thing where you could TP past the breach ult and finesse it.
I think he did as well.
And that's why it was full support right there. It's unreal.
Yeah,
the state of gameplay Sen is showing right now.
Hopefully we get that on the replay. There's that op kill that you mentioned.
I mean,
a really nice flick.
I mean, Autumn tried. He hit him, but it just wasn't a headshot. You got to connect like that. And Zekken, he's feeling it right now with the Operator. I haven't seen him shoot like this with the Op in a while. I mean, over a month.
And honestly, all signs are good when Zekken is smiling if you're a Sentinels fan.
And another new look right here, right? Aggressive tether. This time pushing Autumn all the way back. They understand that Autumn could purchase an Operator, and he's taken that peek almost every single round. So instead of tethering to hit the Omen of Lysor, they get the TP out. And it's Zekken on an off angle here at C2. I mean, he's been so mobile with the Operator. He showed front B a bunch. Last round he was A, now he's C. Are FPX going to read into that? Right there. And even if they do, can they do anything about it?
Yeah. That's half the battle. I feel like the adjustments that Sentinels have made have been really nice, but maybe FPX can find a little bit of room here towards C, perhaps. I mean, Zekken is still here with the op. John is close by. They're just not giving them these fights anymore. That feels like the biggest difference. Now John was on the swing. He's going to get punished for it. Zekken manages to find safe passage with op in hand. A second dip in. Boom. I thought he was going to hit him, and that would have been devastating. The nade's not going to feel good. The pit invested. He's got to stay alive here.
Yeah, but they're all stuck. They're all corralled here. Oh, just now we see Life taking more aggressive space in CT.
What do they have to pound? Zekken has his Roomba. And Tenzils has full utility, but an op trying to get into a pit in a situation like that, it's all hands on Zekken, and he just cannot. I mean, a random bullet connecting. And FPX alleviates some of this pressure, finally finding a round.
Finally finding an answer. And the answer so far in this half has been Thrash. It's been Ayong on C site using that. Last time they were able to accumulate 2 rounds from it. Let's see if they can get another one and slowly bring this back, slowly give themselves a chance into the mix. But it's been baiting out C utility and then going with the second layer. Yeah, you're not running a duelist, so you have to play this way. You have to bait out the stuff that can stuff you in the chokes and then re-hit.
Back to the old tried and true. You've got the suck, you've got the nade. And now Zekken's fishing for more. That rocket's not going to connect.
It doesn't connect, but it's all space gathered. And again, Zelsis is just jiggling C. He's rarely gotten a fight here. At every single time he's been jiggling like this, Sen have known that they end A.
Zekken might be in a little bit of trouble here. He has
he
one
needs to be
satchel.
very careful here.
slight little sidestep. It's him against the world right now.
That's another nade.
That nade is really nice, but he's got nowhere to go. Plucked out of the sky. I thought he was going to find safety.
Almost.
But life puts him down, and now tap of the door as they turn their attention towards A. Meanwhile, Zels is still jiggling that angle. Sasi's got his ult online. And it's going to connect onto what, 2?
He gets a lot of info with that and is able to reposition onto site.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of time left in the round.
Yeah, there is, but there's no movement from the side of FPX. They're still deciding to end here, and life just gets taken out for free. It's a freebie.
So A doesn't work for a couple of tries.
30 seconds left.
And I guess maybe they think they can find some better fortune towards B. Yeah, but look at Zels' positioning.
Positioned so well, exactly. The turret's gonna, oh, wait, what's going on right now? Must be a glitch.
Oh, I think it's just out of the cone, just out of the cone.
But he still gets info regardless here.
10
And a
seconds
ping.
left.
Maybe they know. They understand he might be front B.
It seems like they do.
Oh,
Zels is buying his time. Sasi joins him for the kill. And that's another one for Sentinels. That's
Good
also,
stuff.
very quickly, as we think about turning our attention towards the last round of the half, Zelsis will be 1 point away from having his ult.
And I wonder if you're going to see, like, maybe an A setup this time from Zelsys, or maybe he's just going to stay C and just jiggle infinitely again. But if they do decide to put him towards A with some supporting cast, maybe he can grab the orb. But honestly, they don't really need to push anything right now.
They really don't.
The way that Sen have been winning a lot of these rounds have just been letting the game come to them.
Right.
And that's what you want to do when you're not playing against a duelist. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And again, that's the big adjustment that we saw from the first couple of rounds. And so it seems like Zelsys will go back to his C setup. The turret B and a little bit more aggression towards A. This feels almost identical to what we saw in the previous round.
It just feels like FPX have just run into a wall. And they want to make this A fight work so badly. It's just not working for them.
I mean, they just dropped a paranoia all the way out towards Broken Door.
With a one-way as well. Oh, Zelsys gets an orb off of that!
He's going to have his ult. There it is. There's really no way to clear it out either.
And this is so awkward right now for FPX. That ultimate, it's so unconventional.
Sasi with a big fight here. If life gives him the swing, and now he certainly won't. Now with the threat of that on the other side of the wall.
Oh my gosh, it's so scary if you're life right now.
There's smoke on the other side. I mean, look at his position. There's literally no room to breathe. Lysor and Autumn, the only two that remain in a 2v4. Zekken's going to be the first to try to get onto the tap. Lysor falls. Zekken's going to stick it the whole way. No resistance. A 9-3 dominant half out for Sentinels.
Yo, this Sentinels is fired up. They're back in form, Doug.
I just don't really know. Yeah, this comp, whatever it is, it's all going the way of Sentinels right now. A ridiculous half to get us to halftime. We'll see if the second half provides any sort of hope for FPX fans, because this very well may be it.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Elimination is on the line for one of these two squads, and hopes coming into this tournament could not have been higher. Again, FPX seemed like they were competing to be the kings of China. They were pushing EDG to the limit. They were getting the best of all of the other teams that are here, and Sentinels were 0-6. They had lost against G2. They lost against 100 Thieves. They lost against Gen G. It seemed like there was no success to be bound for them, and I mean, this is an entirely different situation, Dre.
And honestly, on top of that, FPX had such a great performance against Heretics. They could have won it. You could argue that they could have won it. 2 of the maps that Heretics won went to OT, and then Heretics made it out of the group. I mean, like, you're thinking that, yeah, they could do this. And they're going to have to do this right here, right now. This comp, it needs to be phenomenal on this defense. We're going to have to see a lot of value from the Chamber.
Well, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like the Chamber's even going to be tested this round. He is taking a little bit of space, though.
An early A fight. And just utility being thrown.
Berlin's by himself here. One spotted. He may be overstaying his welcome. I mean, there's no way you stand to that. They're so decisive on this hit. As soon as the shoulder was spotted, Zekken was satcheling into his face.
And he's already here, close and personal. He can't connect, though.
Really nice shots out from Life.
Last player standing.
And it's leaving Zelsis on his own.
Swarm grenade out.
He's got light armor. And the spike was planted through all that. He's got lineups, bro.
And he's going to... No way he's going to flank all the way around. This Molly will buy enough time for it. But he needs to be very careful here. I just don't think it's a very interesting play. Oh, the tap. It might work in his favor.
It's going to buy a little bit of time. Now Lysor's gotten it to half. Autumn has been spotted, not able to connect the shots. He's got to spam into the smoke, and he can't connect.
Wow.
The pistol goes the way of FPX.
Yeah. Life. Honestly, he actually brought Life back into FPX in that pistol round, getting 2 in Broken Door. And he's sitting at the top.
And take a look at it again. It seemed done,
yeah,
honestly.
I really thought with the reposition from Zekken, I thought it was going to be done. I thought he was feeling it, but the wide swing from Ayung, he broke the crosshair of Zekken. Zekken couldn't connect. And Life, he stepped up big right there. So they're slowly going to crawl their way back into this. They need to win this round flawlessly. Maybe dropping your weaker weapons. That's it.
Zekken's got a shorty.
Ooh.
And 2 satchels.
Okay.
I didn't think they'd commit onto it there.
All right.
Doing a really good job of weathering some of this pressure.
He's so cold under pressure. You're 100% correct.
And they're going to continue to push him, or at least attempt to. As Life gets another on the round. The remaining members of Sentinels trying to do their very best to stay up, but Autumn gets 4.
And he's going to get that spike as well, so he's building up towards that ultimate. Double op if he wants. And I said it, they need to win it flawlessly. They did just that.
Well, and I think you could argue that they got even more than that. Again, given how things played out for Autumn, given that he was able to get, 4 kills on the round, and then get a little bit closer to having the ult online.
A real big chance here to snowball this game and bring it back within grasp.
Well, and that's the thing you were talking about, is when you know that there's a chamber on the other side, you want to try to flush him out. You want to try to get to him as aggressively as possible and force him into an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Sentinels there, Autumn just was able to handle it.
He's so good in those moments. It's very impressive.
Well, the spam not finding a kill.
Life, that was a very risky play.
Berlin's getting a little cheeky here as well.
It's just individual heroics that are trying to happen, but this version of Sentinels, with the way that they're playing, it's together. They're playing as a unit. It's going to be very hard, especially if you don't have an escape. I could see if it's Autumn, because he can TP out.
Sure, but your Breach doesn't have that same level
Viper,
of mobility.
Yeah, or Viper, yeah. It's tough to get out of dodge.
So they do have a couple of weapons here. They're going to attempt, or at least, I don't even know that Autumn can really get in. He's been tagged, he's been spotted, he's been dealt with.
Oh my goodness.
Another kill through smokes. Sentinels will get to 10, and yes, that was their bonus, sure. But now, this is where things begin. This is where the round, or the half starts, excuse me.
Get a replay of that punish from Zekken. Yeah, Life just sticking around for way too long.
And then Berlin doing a bit of the same.
Yeah, I don't think he was aware of how exposed he was to that angle. Didn't expect Zekken to peek in the timing that he did. And Zekken's having a hell of a map right now. Him and Tens are just going tit for tat. Who's going to be at the top of this game? It's like they're competing with one another. But Autumn gets really far ahead of that.
That's why that duo was put together. This is what was, this is what was imagined when these two got put together. Zekken popping the ult, clearing so much space towards C. Look at how far back Berlin has had to run away.
It's a free spike planet as well. There is a lot of utility, though, for this retake. Saucy is sitting on that Fade ultimate, though. This could be very deadly for the side of FPX. And the Q is just going to be the Killjoy utility.
Yeah, it's such an aggressive alarm bot.
Look at these mollies. There's 2 mollies pre-placed. This is a crazy post plant from Sentinels.
The paranoia is out. There's the first. The molly pop. The alarm bot's going to get some info. FPX haven't really gained very much space other than what they already had. Lysor's the only one who's now further up. With a little bit of help, Berlin's able to get the best of Zelsis. Keep an eye on what members are still back towards Mound. You've got Zekken who's running amok on the site. Berlin's almost getting the defuse. Gets it to half, but now, oh my gosh! What in the world was that? Oh, but it wasn't enough. Just when it seemed like things were gonna fall the way of FPX, time expires. And Sentinels get to 11.
It was all that post-plant utility off of the showstopper from Zekken. Yeah, he gathered all that space. Everyone was so scared and just not in reach from the side of FPX that it bought so much time. Saucy has that Fade ultimate. Somehow Zelsis has 2 mollies on site with an alarm bot that's aggressive. There's too much stall, too much delay.
Oh, that's tragic. That was not, oh.
That must have been on purpose, sure.
No, I don't. They just did her dirty. Right, into the next we go. Sentinels 2 rounds away from staying alive in this tournament. Autumn getting the best of Zekken.
That's a big, big entry. But now Sen have the info of where the chamber is.
And what they don't know is what's threatening them towards C. They had 3 members up towards Mound.
Utility was used, so Zelsis did hear that. That's why he's slowly re-clearing it, understanding that with the tap of the door at A and the tap of the door at C, there was a rotation off of C Mound. That's why you see this heavy lean of Sentinels going back towards C. The IGLing, the mid-rounding right now is very good. It's a flow state that John has hit.
Remember, the only real gun in this situation is Autumn's ult, and he's still back towards A.
I wonder if FPX decide to commit the Thrash into this round, even with the gun disadvantage. It kind of feels like you have to in a way.
Hail Mary here?
But like if you don't and you lose the round,
yeah, then what?
It's match point for Sen. For what?
Right, what are you saving it for, the next year?
Yeah.
Sure. It seems like, given all the noise the Sentinels have shown, given the spams towards B, the smokes that went up, it gave FPX a little bit of time to adjust and to rotate over, but they may need more than that.
Rough.
I mean, they definitely need more than that. Shot settled for TenZ. That's 3 on the round for him.
It's just the training range.
Tries to duck, but Berlin finally cleans him up. Autumn and Berlin, the only 2 that remain. And Autumn is so concerned about a late flank coming in from B, and for good reason. Zelsis spamming onto the first. There's really no way in. This is such a heartbreaking way for things to close out for FPX.
Yeah, Life definitely should have had that kill on the TenZ. And TenZ ended up getting 3 more because of it. Or 2 more, I should say. Just feeling an immense amount of pressure. They're crumbling in it, Doug. They're crumbling in it.
At the worst possible time.
And Life's had a great map, honestly. He was the only saving grace on that other half, on the other side.
Yeah.
But that whiff,
that one hurts.
That's tough. It just kind of feels like there's nothing you can do right now if you're FPX.
Meanwhile, it's still all smiles for the red and black.
And who's going to be the one on top? TenZ or Zekken?
Potential last round of FPX's year. Coming in to the biggest tournament as the number 2 seed from China. The Rolling Thunder causing so much havoc. There's no crunch coming in from the other side, but it might not matter as Ion's able to get 2. They've lost control of the spike. Sentinels have been thrown asunder, but TenZ has his ult. Able to scoop that thing up, and now it's a mad dash towards A. A mad dash towards Autumn with the op. Does the Viper wall go back up? Does John have enough gas? There it is, now coming back.
A lack of communication on FPX. They should have told Autumn that the Omen ultimate was committed to grab the spike. but he was worried the whole time that he was getting flanked.
Autumn not able to find the first shot. You mentioned how good he's been under pressure, and there's all of it building up to him now, and he crumbles underneath it. Ten's committing to getting the spike down. The Thrash invested. Ion trying to find anything that he can. They've got a numbers advantage here. Can they convert this into a round win? Can they keep their year alive? Utility over the spike as FPX now pushing their way forward. Zels is holding line, only able to find one though. As Ten's on the spam, connecting onto the second with John QT over his shoulder. A 2v2. Spike ticking away, time is short. Can John do it on his own? He's gotten it down to one. The spam, pre-connecting, and it will be the Red Bull clutch for John QT. Sen City stays alive as they take down FPX.
What a comeback from Sen, being down 8-4 on Bind, having a flawless defensive side, full teamwork in effect, and then to win this map the way that they did. What a clutch at the end of things. The Odin, it's too good in the post plant. You hold mouse 1 wherever the plant is, wherever the spike is planted, and Zekin, 6 first bloods on that last map.
And so the final bow we will see FPX take this year. Again, a team that came into this tournament with a lot of hopes, with a lot of aspirations, a team that seemed to have figured out their struggles while still seemingly so strong on what got them to this point. But they just fall apart in front of Sen City, and there's a lot of reason to be excited. And I want to mention John QT there because, honestly, in my opinion, when Sentinels have looked their best, it's when John is fragging as well. Because you know what you're going to get from Zek, and you know what you're going to get from Tens. I mean, you know all the other pieces are going to deliver.
Yeah.
But when they've been at their best is when John is not just calling an immaculate game, but fragging on top of it.
Yeah.
And we saw hints of that today.
And also when he's doing it on Viper and Cypher and these roles that we know him to play. Not the deadlock. Yeah, and it works. It works sometimes. I get it. But his bread and butter are those two agents. And the way that they're able to play with the double controller comps, they look so much better.
It seems like today was all about going back to bread and butter.
Yep.
For Sentinels, they got rid of their deadlock comps. We didn't see them bust that out at all today. And I don't want to say Reddit was right, but maybe Reddit was right, right? They've moved away from some of that stuff, and they just seem a lot more comfortable, Trey.
And now, you gotta think about the timing of how they're coming together right now. They're going up against who? Genji, my brother. That is gonna be an insane match, a rematch, bad blood, ever since Madrid.
Yeah, it's gonna be a banger. And I think there's still plenty of time for Sentinels to think through what worked today, and honestly, some of the things that kind of got away from them. I want to go back to that first half of Bind. It wasn't pretty, but they're able to pull it off. Sentinels stay alive. We've got 10 standing by on the stage for the Verizon post-match interview.